aspect is at least you don't have negative thoughts to think about. The negative aspect is you can't just leave your mind blank. Your mind is a factory for creation. So you must be able to intentionally impute thoughts into your mind, because those are the resources that your mind will get to use in helping you create your desired life realities. So yes, that's that with the first question. So let's go on with the second question. What's the second question? Okay, what are we syndrome? Has it ever happened to you before that you have been with a lady for one reason or the other? You've been like, you can't really define your relationship with her, but you guys have been meeting regularly, and then she just brings up that question, what are we? There's even a song that says what are we, and then you don't know. Usually that kind of question gets men like off balance, because we usually don't know what to say, especially if you don't have a clear thought about what that relationship is all about, or you already know what the relationship is all about, but you don't want it to be a real relationship. You want it to be a situationship, or somebody even came up with situationship, real relationship, something like that. So, and you don't want to offend the lady by telling her that, oh, I'm not planning to be in a serious relationship with you. This is just a situationship. So men are usually like, they get disturbed. Like, why are you asking this kind of question? What are we? Where were we before? What were we before? So in this kind of situation where a lady springs up a particular question of what are we, what you need to do is to be very, very careful about the way you go about answering that question. And that should also make you to, have a clear cut design or intention about what you want behind every relationship or every situationship. If you know it's situationship, there's a way you will go about it. If it is a real relationship, there's a way to go about it. And if you don't have any plan at all for that relationship or for whatever you guys are having, then you need to be very, very careful about the way you go about it. It's better you don't even give any answer. It's better you just play dumb and you just like deflect or go to another question instead. As a serious relationship, you need to be able, and then you must be able to come up with points that you will be able to use in communicating that idea. Let me give an example. There's a guy and there's a lady. After sex, no, not after sex or foreplay or whatever, after intimate relationship, the lady now asks the guy, what are we? And then the guy was confused because the guy didn't know what to say, because the way ladies always come up with that question, like, I have a question. I have a question. And then the guy was like, what question? And then the lady went ahead to ask that question, like, what are we? And then the guy said, well, I feel honored to be asked to be in a relationship, in a serious relationship with you, but I feel that we are not compatible. And then the lady now went ahead to say, why are we not compatible? And then the guy said, first of all, we have a lot in common, but I don't think we have enough that can sustain a serious relationship that will eventually become a marital relationship. And do you know what? The lady understood what the guy said, and the guy went ahead to explain more. This explains why guys need to have thorough understanding of what relationship is all about, so that you can always know the answers to give. So that's that with what are we syndrome. The next question. The third question is, why do men ghost or go into their caves? Men are the best. Men are like, should I say the best? Men are the ghosters of this world. A man can just disappear off radar without letting you know what is happening. I don't know if you have read that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Women get to express their minds and they get to express what is going on with them, while men will rather go into their caves and try to sort out things and issues with themselves. But the issue there is it always gets to a point called Omashe period, or a helpless time. Like they always come out late. And by the time they now come out late to acknowledge that they don't have what it takes to deal with the situation, it might just be the like it might be so late and you might not be able to solve the problem. So I want to encourage guys that try and have a balance between entering your cave, your private space, where you want to try and settle and sort out issues. Have a balance with that. Balance that with being able to know when to leave the cave early. Once you are able to leave the cave early, you might leave the cave early without solving the problem. Don't get embarrassed or don't feel like, oh, this is shameful. No, no, no. It's better to come out feeling shameful or like feeling like, oh, I just went there to waste my time. No, you went there to discover you don't have enough capacity to deal with this situation. That's different from someone assuming that he has what it takes. So you have come out to make a discovery that you don't have what it takes, and that's a massive discovery. And then from there, you can now call for help very, very early. That's one thing men need to learn from women. Women cry out for help very early, sometimes too early. So, so men try and strike a balance between entering your cave and then coming, knowing when to enter and knowing when to come out and cry for help, or going out to execute the solution you just came out with. So the next one, the fourth one. So we have two more after this. The fourth one is, there is something about phlegmatic men. What is that? You know, men are ghosters of this world. They just ghost people. Like they just disappear off. They just go off radar. Fine. Phlegmatics are now like the ghosters, like super ghosters of this world. They can just become silent, quiet, and you won't be able to reach them. So imagine men being ghosters of this world, and then that particular man now happens to be a phlegmatic or has a phlegmatic temperament. That's double barrel. So if you are a man and you're listening to me and you also discover that you have a phlegmatic temperament as one of your two predominant temperaments, what you need to do is to build the secondary or the second temperament that will enable, or that will prevent you from, going to the extreme of that is associated with being phlegmatic. So what you discover after a while is that you will no longer just ghost people anyhow. Your second predominant temperament will also now cover up for you. For example, let's think of a man that has two predominant temperaments. One is phlegmatic, one is choleric. And over time, this person has always had phlegmatic temperament for maybe like 20 years, 30 years. But the person has not been developing the choleric temperament. At this point, let's assume you are listening to this podcast right now, Men's Cafe. What you need to do is, you are already used to being a phlegmatic. And that's not so good. What you want to do now is, you want to develop and build your choleric temperament so as to be phlegmatic temperament. And that's done through self-development. And once you are able to do that, what you will discover is the strength of your choleric will make up for the weaknesses of your phlegmatic temperament, and the strength of your phlegmatic temperament will make up for the weaknesses of your choleric. So that's that with phlegmatic men. If you are still having issues with that, you can just write a question under the comment section, and then we'll get to answer that. All right, so the fifth question, second to the last question, under Men's Cafe with Dr. Michaels. Why do men cheat? It was a woman that asked this question. There's a lot of misconception about men being the cheaters of this world. I don't agree. And I'm not trying to defend men. Women also cheat. As a matter of fact, I think, please don't crucify me, I think women cheat more than men. But it's like, because women are highly intelligent. And I've been saying for like 4 or 5 years that women are more intelligent than men. And number two, if you push me to the wall and ask me who has a higher sex drive, I will go for women. I believe from a lot of observation and subjective research that we have made that women like sex more. So let me prove it to you in another way. Women have like 3 weeks involved in their menstrual cycle. Their hormones are always going up and on and off, very high, very low. They only have 1 week to be themselves. And as the hormones go up and go down, it will also affect their sex drive. Unlike men, we don't have menstrual cycle. So you see, so women have the tendency to cheat more. But we're not talking about who cheats more. This question is just about why do men cheat? So I think the question should be rephrased. Why do people cheat? Why do people cheat? People cheat for different reasons. Like there are 1,001 reasons why people cheat. So you cannot just use one situation to judge another. So you might want to ask the person who cheated. You want to know why. And that's why cheating in a relationship is an indication that there's something wrong with that relationship or in that marriage. And what I've discovered over time is that we are always focusing on the minor. That's one. Two, we are always focusing on the symptom of a problem and not the real cause. It's your duty. Let's assume you are a male leader or you are a leader and you want to have a session with a man who just cheated. What you want to do is you want to know what made that man to cheat. For example, that women do not matter and women are just sex objects. For a man that has that kind of mindset, that man will likely have a tendency to cheat. Another aspect is a man that does not know the value of commitment. A man that does not know the value of commitment. A man that does not know what it takes to be committed. That man will definitely have issues with cheating or staying committed in a relationship. Because once you give your word to a particular person, you are supposed to stand by that word. But if you don't know the value of commitment or being committed to your word, then you will normally cheat. If you say you are going to come to a meeting for 4 o'clock and then you get there 5 o'clock, it means you don't, and you promise to be there by 4. It means you don't, or you also don't know the value of your word, and then you cannot keep to normal time. If you can't keep to coming or sticking to your time or your appointment, how will you stick to a lady? How will you be committed to a lady that you're just giving your word that you will be faithful to her? So there are different reasons why people cheat. Another reason that I will give before going to the 6th question is, if you are coming from a polygamous home, we always encourage people during therapy sessions that they should have meetings with their parents. Because you didn't jump from heaven. What sent your father out of the family and made him to dump mommy is also inside you as a trait in your genetic makeup, and is just waiting for something to happen physically, which we call environmental factors, to gain expression. But if you are able to have a very sound, objective interview, no, not interview, but chat with daddy, like, daddy, why did you leave? Why did you leave mommy? And daddy knows that you are not trying to judge him, like, daddy, why did you leave mommy? No, but daddy knows that you want to learn. Daddy will open up one day. He might not open up immediately. If you were the one, will you open up immediately? But daddy will open up one day and he will convert it into a teaching session, and he will help you know why he left where he left mommy. And that will help you to also remain committed in your own relationship. And the last one is, if you don't know who you are, self-discovery. If you don't know who you are, if you don't have a sound understanding of self-awareness, you are also likely to cheat. Because on what basis did you make the decision to be in a relationship with that lady? On what basis did you make the decision to get married to that lady? You are supposed to make the decision to get married to a person based on the understanding of yourself. You and that person must be going in the same direction. So how did you come to a conclusion that it is this lady that I want to be in a relationship with, or I want to get married to? So if your self-discovery is faulty, your marriage and your relationship are likely going to be faulty too. and you are going to cheat because you're going to see someone else that looks so perfect and close to who you are. And one day, when you are vulnerable, you might likely cheat. So you see, I can go on and on and on, but I need to stop there. So what's the sixth question? The sixth question is it healthy for men to become mushy with their female partners before or after getting married, or before and after? The thing is, men are always having these issues. Immediately a man sees a lady that he loves, he forgets himself. He starts asking for approval. Can I do this? Can I do that? Darling, I'm about to go. Do you want me to go? As a strong man that used to like other men around, now doesn't know what to do again. When we see a woman that we love, we see the lady's picture on our phone. We see it in plates. Have you heard of, when I'm in love with you, I see you everywhere? So this is what we tell men. I want to sit down so that I'll be able to tell you. When the day you get to meet a woman that you love, this is what we recommend. Suspend the mushy. Please take it back to that question again. Suspend the mushy. Like, don't become soft. Suspend that you are trying to pretend. You need to know the rules of the game. This is how relationship is played. Relationship is a game, and that does not mean relationship is an unserious thing. So suspend the mushy that we saw on that screen. Suspend it till after the wedding. So before the wedding, from the day you from the day the relationship you get, from the day you got, from the starting date of the relationship, try and just be yourself. There's something I want to say. A lot of men are behave mushy because they are not themselves. So when we see a lady that we love, we forget ourselves and we become somebody else. When we meet the lady we love, we just forget ourselves, we deny ourselves, and then we become somebody else. The moment you meet a lady that you love, I want you to start practicing it now. Practice always being yourself, so that the day you get to meet a lady that you love, you will be yourself and you will not forget yourself. Have you ever noticed that whenever you are yourself, you don't overreact, you don't overbehave? Is there any English like that? You don't behave anyhow. People accept you, and then you are able to do it. You're able to communicate well. So be yourself, but you need to start practicing from now. And then when you meet her, like, put on the reset button and just be yourself. Sometimes you might be tempted to, start mushy. Reduce the tone a little bit till after the wedding. Once you are married, then release the mushy. At that point, you have already seen our weaknesses. You have already seen a lot of things that will make you to want to leave the marriage. The mushy will serve as a cushion effect, will provide a cushion effect that will sustain your marriage. But if you start with mushy before the wedding, and then you now get married, you now discover that she's like you. She's not really different from you. She's not the angel. She's not God. She's not the goddess. You will want to leave that marriage. But if you start with a very serious face, serious attitude, and then you now get married, and then you now see her in her true self, in her true color. Like, ladies don't have their bath until evening period, and that's even when they want to go out. You will now use your mushy to serve as a cushion effect that will save your relationship and your marriage. I'm Dr. Michaels. I'm a medical doctor with interest in interventional talking therapy, and this is Men's Cafe. And I'm so excited to treat these 6 questions with you. And I'm sure the next time you're going to call your friends, you're going to call as many people as possible to listen. If you still have more questions, you can just write your questions in the comment section, and then I will get to answer you. Thanks to QLM Studios on YouTube. All right.